You know that moment when you check your bank account after a solid month of work and the number barely moved? I'm Hank. And I spend way too much time thinking about why smart business owners make one tiny mental mistake that silently drains their revenue. So you don't have to. Here's what's actually happening. Every morning you're choosing between fixing what's broken or building what could scale. That split-second choice, it's costing you more than any marketing budget ever could. Most failures aren't about effort. They're about operating with a broken lens. One subtle thinking flaw that turns good decisions into slow-motion disasters. Stick with me. By the end, you'll see your business differently. And you'll know exactly how to fix what's been bleeding you dry. Picture two business owners. Same product, same market, same budget, same work ethic. 5 years later, one of them is scaling. The other one is gone. Same inputs, completely different lives. Why? The research points somewhere else entirely. To a mental habit so deeply ingrained, so invisible, that most people operating under it have no idea it exists. It is called component thinking. And right now, it is quietly running your business into the ground. Here's what component thinking actually does to you. It makes you see your business as a collection of separate boxes. Marketing is in its box. Sales is in its box. Customer support is in its box. You manage each one independently. You fix the box that looks broken. You celebrate the box that looks good. That logic feels completely reasonable. It is also completely wrong. The opposite of a component thinker is a systems thinker, and here's the dividing line. A systems thinker does not see boxes. They see a web. They see how every single part of your business is pulling on every other part. How the quality of your customer support is directly shaping your revenue 12 months from now. How 1 weak link in your marketing is poisoning conversions you will never even know you lost. Here's the clearest illustration of the gap. A component thinker looks at customer support and sees a cost to minimize. A systems thinker looks at that exact same department and sees a marketing engine, a retention machine, and a compounding revenue multiplier. Simultaneously, same department, two completely different financial futures. This is not about how hard you work. It is about the mental operating system you're running. And if nobody ever upgraded yours, you are making every decision with software that is 20 years out of date. Every system that has ever existed runs on the same three-part structure. Inputs, processes, outputs. Inputs are what you put in. Your advertising spend, your website traffic, your employee hours. Processes are what you do with those inputs. The sales call, the onboarding flow, the follow-up sequence. Outputs are what actually comes out the other end. Revenue, customers, referrals, reputation. But here's where most people's mental model stops. And that stopping point is exactly where the damage begins. Because beyond inputs, processes, and outputs, two more forces are shaping everything you build. The first is your environment. Competition, market shifts, platform changes, forces pressing in from outside that you did not create and cannot fully control. The second force is the one that will make or break your business. Feedback loops. We are going deep on these in a moment. And when we do, something is going to click for you that explains every unexpected collapse and every compounding success you have ever witnessed. But first, why can most people not see any of this, even when it is right in front of them? It is not an intelligence problem, it is a questions problem. Your whole life you have been trained to ask narrow questions. What does this number say? Is this piece up or down? How is this department performing? Those questions keep you trapped inside the box. Systems thinkers ask 6 completely different questions. What are the inputs? What are the processes? What are the outputs? What is the environment doing right now? Where are the feedback loops? And what does the whole machine look like? Not just the part I'm currently staring at. 6 questions. That is the entire gap between someone who sees the invisible and someone who spends their life reacting to consequences they never understood. The research confirms it. This is not a gift. It is a trainable skill. The world does not change. Your ability to navigate it does. This is the section that is going to reframe every business failure you have ever witnessed, including your own. A feedback loop is when the output of your system circles back and becomes a new input, creating a cycle that either compounds your growth or accelerates your collapse. Most business owners have never been taught this mechanism exists. That gap in understanding is costing them everything. Here's the most human example possible. One person gets on an empty dance floor. 2 people join, then 5, then 20. Within 30 minutes, the floor is packed. What happened? The output. A growing crowd fed back into the input, more people willing to join. The bigger it got, the faster it grew. That is a positive feedback loop. The result is feeding the cause. Now flip it. The floor starts emptying. One couple leaves, then another. The people on the edge decide not to bother, more leave. 30 minutes later, empty. Same mechanism, opposite direction, same speed. This is the exact structure behind every stock bubble in history. When a price is rising, more people buy. When more people buy, the price rises more. The price is literally the biggest influence on the price. That is why Bitcoin ran from $3,000 to $65,000 in 18 months. Not once, but repeatedly. Feedback loops do not care about fundamentals. They care about momentum. Now ask yourself, where is this happening inside your business right now? Happy customers tell others. Those people become customers. They get results. They tell others. Your reputation compounds. Your acquisition cost drops. Your revenue grows without you spending more. That is a positive feedback loop. And you can engineer it deliberately once you know it exists. But here's the danger that destroys businesses. The same mechanism runs in reverse with equal power. Poor results generate bad reviews. Bad reviews mean fewer new customers. Fewer customers mean less revenue. Less revenue forces cost cuts. Cost cuts degrade your service. Degraded service produces worse results, and the loop tightens every single cycle. A component thinker walks directly into that death spiral and never sees it coming. They try to fix the bad review. They try to fix the revenue dip. They try to fix the service complaint separately, one box at a time, while the loop is accelerating the collapse of the entire machine around them. Here is the mathematical truth you need to lock in. Linear thinking cannot explain exponential behavior. Ever. If you believe cause leads to effect in a straight chain, you will never understand why businesses collapse at the speed they do, or why success compounds the way it does. You will just watch it happen and call it luck. Component thinkers spend their lives reacting to outcomes. Systems thinkers engineer the loops that produce them. Let me show you exactly what this costs you in the real world. Case study 1. Customer support as an afterthought. You outsource support for $500 a month. You check the box, and you move on. That decision feels like efficiency. It is not. It is component thinking executing its most reliable move, destroying your future revenue while making your present look fine. Here is what actually happens inside your system. A customer has a question. They reach out. They get a slow, robotic, unhelpful response. They feel dismissed. They do not buy your next product. They do not refer a single person. They might leave a review that poisons your acquisition for the next 2 years. Why does this matter so much more than it appears to? Because almost no business makes its real money on the first transaction. Your money is in repeat purchases. Your money is in referrals. Your money is in lifetime customer value. And every single one of those revenue streams runs directly through how that customer felt the last time they needed you. Systems thinkers treat support as a growth lever, not a cost center. Well-trained staff. Fast response times. Not because those numbers are arbitrary, but because when your support is exceptional and your competitors is painful, your customer does not just stay. They recruit for you, for free. One department is now doing the work of your entire marketing budget. Case study 2, the landing page trap. A marketer takes a landing page, opt-in rate from 18% to 40%. The team celebrates. Metrics are up. Momentum feels real, then sales go down. What destroyed them? By broadening the page's appeal to attract more signups, they attracted worse buyers. More people entered the funnel. Fewer converted into revenue. The intermediate metric went up. The final output, actual profit, went negative. This trap is running through marketing departments right now, at scale, everywhere. The industry worships intermediate metrics, cost per lead, click-through rate, opt-in rate. These numbers feel like progress because they move in the right direction, but they are measured in the middle of the machine. And the middle of the machine will lie to you every single time if you let it. Here is your new rule. The only metric that tells you the truth is the final one. Actual revenue, actual return on investment. Everything upstream of that is navigation data. Useful, but never the destination. Never declare victory at a stage. Wait for the full story. Component thinking does not just distort your analysis, it distorts how you lead. When you see the world as separate pieces, your instinct is to control every piece directly, and that instinct produces silos. Departments, people, and strategies operating in complete isolation, never talking, never reinforcing each other, generating friction instead of momentum. The antidote is emergence, and once you understand it, you will never manage the same way again. Emergence is complex, sophisticated behavior arising from simple, well-designed rules, with no central control required. A flock of thousands of birds produces breathtaking formations in the sky. The entire formation emerges from one rule: do not collide with the bird next to you. One rule: infinite complexity. Zero micromanagement. Your business can work exactly the same way. You do not need to dictate every outcome. You need the right foundational principles. And then you need the discipline to trust the system to generate results that your control would have strangled. A business coach proved this directly. When he stopped and trusted emergence instead, his students self-discovered specialties he never would have invented for them. Porn addiction consulting, irritable bowel syndrome coaching, family crisis intervention, profitable, unique, and uncrowded, precisely because nobody was forced into them. Here is the deeper law at work. When you force everyone down the same path, you eliminate the diversity that makes your system resilient, and you destroy the scarcity that made the path worth taking. If you teach every student the same tactic, the tactic stops working. Because the edge it gave was always scarcity, not the tactic itself. Now, underneath all of this, underneath every feedback loop and every siloed department and every component thinking trap, is a human being. Someone who worked nights, who gave up weekends, who borrowed money and believed in something. Component thinking does not just cost you revenue. It costs you years of your life spent diagnosing the wrong problem. It costs you the confidence that erodes when you blame yourself, your intelligence, your worth, your capacity, for a structural flaw nobody ever taught you to see. When your business declines and you cannot see the feedback loop driving it, it looks like a string of bad luck. You keep fixing individual pieces of a machine that is actively destroying itself. The diagnosis is always wrong because the model was always wrong. None of this is inevitable. The flaw is not yours. It is a training gap, and training gaps can be closed if you decide to close them. Here is your new operating system. Systems thinking is not a personality trait you either have or do not have. It is a set of questions you train yourself to ask until asking them is automatic. Until seeing the whole machine is your default, not your exception. 4 disciplines. Start here. The first discipline. Map every situation using the universal structure. Anytime you're making a decision, ask these 6 questions. What are the inputs? What are the processes? What are the outputs? What is the environment doing? Where are the feedback loops? What does the whole look like? Those 6 questions consistently asked will show you things your competitors are completely blind to. The second discipline, measure only at the end of the machine, not at the opt-in rate, not at the cost per lead. Trace every initiative forward to the final output, real revenue, real return on investment. Do not celebrate a stage. Wait for the truth that only the full result can tell you. The third discipline, hunt for feedback loops. Ask constantly, where's an output circling back to affect an input right now? Is that loop building your business or quietly collapsing it? The moment you can see it, you can engineer it. The fourth discipline, test small before you scale. If $1,000 of input produces $2,000 or more of output at small scale, you have a system worth scaling. If it does not work small, pouring more inputs into it only produces bigger losses faster. There is no secret to scaling. There is only a proven system and the discipline to feed it more. Here is what is waiting for you on the other side of this. Not just better metrics, not just higher revenue numbers. The real outcome is freedom. The freedom that comes from finally understanding what is actually happening inside your business. Options, because you can see opportunities that invisible thinking was hiding from you. Strength, because you stop being a person who reacts to outcomes and start being a person who engineers them. Your future self, the version of you running a business that compounds, that scales, that does not collapse under the weight of problems you never saw coming. That version of you is built entirely from the quality of the questions you start asking today. The research is clear. You can learn to see this way. Every systems thinker you have ever admired was once exactly where you are right now. operating with a framework that was limiting them, until they replaced it with one that did not. The only question that has ever mattered is not whether you can, it is whether you will.